Daniel lived on the outskirts of the city in a modest, weathered house. He had once been a man of promise and a shining star in his neighborhood. However, addiction had taken hold of him and was gradually destroying all he valued. It was a vicious beast that had taken his identity, his family, and his dreams. He had no idea that the pills, which at first made him feel better, would eventually turn into a dependency and his life's crutch. As his physical discomfort subsided, a new discomfort, a seemingly never-ending craving, took its place. He tried to hide it from those who loved him, but the desperation in his eyes told a different story. As the weeks turned into months, his once thriving career fell apart. His relationships unraveled, and the joy in his life withered like a flower denied sunlight. One fateful night, as he sat alone in his dimly lit living room, staring at the empty pill bottle in his trembling hand, Daniel had an epiphany. He realized that he was on the brink of losing everything, including his own life. It was a wake-up call that he could no longer ignore. With tears in his eyes and an immense weight on his chest, Daniel made the most difficult decision of his life. He reached out to a local addiction recovery center, and that was the beginning of his journey to overcome addiction. The road to recovery was not an easy one. Daniel faced withdrawal symptoms that were excruciating, both physically and mentally. He often wanted to give up, to return to the familiar comfort of his addiction, but he was determined to break free. As he sat through countless group therapy sessions, one phrase resonated with him: one day at a time. It became his mantra, his guiding light in the darkest moments. Each day was a battle, but each day was also a victory. To fill the void left by his addiction, Daniel turned to the therapeutic power of art. He began to paint, channeling his pain, his struggles, and his hopes onto the canvas. The colors and strokes told a story of his journey, dark and chaotic at first, but gradually giving way to light and order. Through his art, he found a new sense of purpose and a healthier way to cope with his emotions. It wasn't just the therapeutic power of art that helped Daniel heal. He also immersed himself in a community of fellow recovering addicts who offered support and guidance. They shared their stories, their battles, and their triumph. In this community, he found acceptance, understanding, and hope. As the days turned into weeks and the weeks into months, Daniel's physical and mental health improved. He regained the trust of his family and friends, who had once been forced to stand by helplessly as he spiraled into addiction. Together, they rebuilt the bonds that had been strained to the breaking point. Despite the progress he had made, Daniel knew that addiction would always be a part of his life. It would be a constant companion, lurking in the shadows, waiting for a moment of vulnerability. But he was no longer powerless. He had gained the knowledge and skills to recognize the signs of his own weakness and to reach out for help when he needed it. The turning point in Daniel's journey came when he was asked to speak at the Addiction Recovery Center. He stood before a room full of people who, like him, were battling their demons. His voice trembled at first, but as he spoke about his journey, his eyes locked onto the audience and his words flowed with conviction. He told them about the pain he had caused and the pain he had endured. He shared the relentless battle to reclaim his life, a battle that he would fight every day. But he also spoke of the hope that lived within him, the hope that had allowed him to transcend the clutches of addiction. As he concluded his speech, the room erupted in applause. He saw tears in the eyes of those who listened, and he knew that his story had touched their hearts. It was at that moment that he understood the power of sharing his journey, of giving hope to others who were still struggling. The years passed, and Daniel continued to speak at recovery centers, schools, and community events. He became a beacon of hope for those who had lost their way, a living testament to the possibility of overcoming addiction. The scars of his past would always be a part of him, but they were no longer a source of shame. They were a reminder of the strength that had carried him through his darkest days. Daniel had discovered a new sense of purpose in helping others on their own journeys to recovery. His story served as a powerful reminder that addiction was not a life sentence, that recovery was possible, and that there was hope for even the most broken souls. Daniel's journey was a testament to the human spirit's resilience, a journey from the brink of destruction to the heights of self-discovery and redemption. The Buddha identified craving and attachment as the leading causes of suffering. Addiction can be described as a severe type of attachment. The driving force behind addiction is the desire to avoid pain and experience pleasure. If people can overcome their attachment, this will allow them to beat their addiction. Buddhist addiction therapy techniques like breathing, meditation, and mindfulness can be highly helpful in guiding you through daily challenges, even those unrelated to addiction. People who become enmeshed in addiction frequently discuss feeling cut off from life. This is commonly referred to as having a hole in the soul. The Buddha held that three aspects of existence, impermanence, non-self, and suffering, were to blame for this sense of being at odds with the cosmos. According to the American Society of Addiction Medicine, addiction is a treatable, chronic medical disease involving complex interactions among brain circuits, genetics, the environment, and an individual's life experiences. People continue to engage in harmful behaviors despite negative consequences because addiction changes the brain's reward system, which increases the desire for substances or experiences. Addiction affects the frontal cortex of your brain and alters your impulse, control, and judgment. The brain's reward system is also altered so that the memory of previous rewards can trigger craving or increased hunger rewarding experiences in spite of negative consequences. If this video has inspired you, please consider hitting that like button and sharing it with others who might benefit from its message. Don't forget to subscribe for more motivational content. We hope this video will help you to overcome whatever addictions you may have. Thank you.